In this video, we'll cover Adobe Illustrator CC, which is a pretty powerful tool. It is a vector graphics software and it is state of the art. So if you go up to File, and we're just going to use a template that I have found. And so I went to File and Open, and here's my Adobe Illustrator template. So this is a pretty common graphic structure. It has a lot of the elements that you might want in a graphic, in an infographic, including some data trends, so all sorts of charts. So I can show you how to do charts here. And you want to always keep in mind that on the bottom of your infographic, you want your logo, and you also want a call to action. What do you expect them to do after having read this infographic, especially if you're using it for marketing and not just information. Okay, so we're going to start with just learning a few of the tools. We won't cover a lot of them in this video, but we will cover some of the basic ones that you will use all the time. One of the first things you need to know how to do is zoom. So on the menu bar, if you go to View, you can go to Zoom In or Zoom Out, and notice you have some shortcuts there, and you can choose how much you want to zoom. Also, you can do that at the bottom. You can zoom in on a particular area. And then you can use the hand tool, very important. Always use the hand tool if you want to move the entire graphic over. Some of the tools that you're going to use on the left, I just mentioned the hand tool. You'll also use the selection tool, which will select an object. So you can select that object, you can select the text object, the text there, and the text there. It does select objects. The direct selection tool, this object down here is many parts. So if you want to use the direct selection tool, you can select just one part of an object. The fill, right now we're yellow, and the stroke, which has no stroke on it, outline in other words. The type tool you'll use a lot, and you can access the type tool anytime you double click in a text box. So when I double click there, it goes to the type tool. Any tool also that has a triangle in the bottom right, if you click on it, it will have a flyout with other choices. We'll just use the type tool on that one today. The rectangle tool, so that you can draw shapes. That's the gradient tool. Here we go. And again, it's a flyout, so to choose the rectangle tool, I need to choose, because I had used the ellipse tool last. The eyedropper tool, where you can pick up some colors. I'm going to demonstrate that. Here it is. And the chart tool, which we'll use in a minute on several things. And that one is right here. You have column graph chart tool, which is one you use pretty often, or a bar graph or a pie graph. You'll use those three the most often probably. And those are the tools on the left side. On the right side, I already have gradient out, and click the double arrow, you can pull them back in. So if we start at the top, we have the color and the color guide. Here we have transparency. I'd already done that one. Swatches, which you'll use quite a bit. Symbols, which you'll use also. You can access symbols here as well. So there are several different ones that you can access in more than one place. With the direct selection tool, select the title in the infographic. So I've selected the title. And then I'm going to double click title, which takes me to the text tool, and I'm going to delete the word title and add an S to infographics. So this is going to be about infographics. Now I'm going to use the direct selection and move over to make that more centered. So here I want to replace this with something that we've learned about infographics already. Infographics use many of the same concepts as desktop publishing, including balance and rhythm. It's important that they have a focal point and are not boring. So that's about what we need to put there. So now you've learned how to change the text and how to move the text boxes over. It's a skill that is very similar in all of our software today. Okay, in the second section, we're going to click on the element here and delete it. Press delete on the keyboard. And I'm going to go over here to symbols. And we have some symbols here, but we have others as well. We can go to our symbol library. And there we have a lot of different symbols in different areas. I'm going to go to flowers. That gives us a few extras. And I'm just going to drag one of those off and put it on here. And I can resize it. You can use any symbol. The symbol should, of course, depict what is on your infographic, but in this case, we're just practicing, so I'm just putting flowers. Okay, and then we want to title this Boring to Brilliant, and we may want to move it over. You know, we may also want to change. Here is your character line where you can change different things, the stroke, whether it's bold, what size font it is. If I want to go up, I can go up from there. Whether I want it aligned, a lot of different things here that you can change on the character. Even the color. We've got the color as a yellow. If I wanted to, I could change it to this color. We're going to use the eyedropper later, but if I wanted to pick up that eyedropper color, notice the fill change to it. Whatever color I pick up, it went a little darker that time. See, if I click on black, it goes to black. I'm going to do the mustard yellow there, and I can select here, and I can go up here and change the color. And there we go. I outlined it. I put a stroke around it. You can change the text in these circles as well. Like I could type interesting data, which is very big there. I may want data on the next line since it's so long, and I may want to select that and change the size of the font because it's pretty large. So 100 points. So I'm going to go to about 18. That's too small. So I'll go up to 36. And I can center it. And then I can also select it and drag it over so it's centered in there. And I have, notice I have plenty of help to help me get it centered. And interesting data. Now when you're replacing like here, bullets, be very careful about replacing the bullet itself because it's not easy. It can be done, but it's not easy. It's not something we'll cover today, but it is not easy to replace those bullets. In fact, usually the best thing to do before you start, in case you accidentally do one, is to copy and paste it so you have it there. So I'm going to start with tell your story. These are just good facts of infographics. And we did tell your story. And then unfortunately I lost my spot. Okay, the next one is compelling visual. And the next one is restrict colors and so forth. But again, you may want to copy this. You could do that by Control-C so that if you needed another line, you can just paste it in there. Much easier than trying to insert the bullet there and get it the exact one that's already in the template. Okay, let's go on down to the chart. So we'll go to the next section. And when you start a chart, the first thing you want to do is select the chart and delete it, because we're going to add a different chart there. So we go over to the chart tool and choose the pie graph tool, draw the area where you want it, and we start inputting our data. This is a pie chart, so it goes horizontal instead of vertical. So Helvetica, then Trajan, Garamond, Futura, and Bodoni. Okay, and then we go to the second row and type in 45, 30 for Trajan, 25 for Garamond, 15 for Futura, and 5 for Bodoni. And these are the favorite fonts that are used most in infographics and their percentages. So once we have done that, we click the check mark and it puts it into our pie chart. We can right click the pie chart, and if you look at type, you can see different types that you can change it to. Right now we're a pie chart. You can add a drop shadow. You can add a legend across the top. You can also put the legend in wedges, or you can put a standard legend. And when I click OK, you'll see those changes. So I have a drop shadow. I have these across the top. I can right click and go to type and change my mind and say I want those in the wedges because that's too big, too much across there. I also may change my mind and go to type and say I don't want that drop shadow after all. And you can see how that works. You can also, if you right click with the pie chart selected, you can transform it so you can scale it, make it different sizes. It's 175 now, so I could do 250, and that's a little bit big, so I'm going to undo. Sometimes it's easier to undo than to redo it. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to transform and scale again, and this time I'm going to do 200, just a little bit bigger. Okay, you can also choose the wedges, the different ones. So I'm going to choose Garamond, and I'm going to go over here to my swatches right there, and I'm going to choose different colors to put on those. And so when I choose this one, I'm going to just drag and drop the color I want on them, and hopefully it'll take care of some of these that you can't read anything. There we go. That's much more readable. And I'm going to do Futura, and I am trying to pick light colors. That was a mess up, wasn't it? Okay, Futura. There we go. Okay, and that's it. I'm going to leave the Bodoni gray. And we can change, don't forget, we need to use the selection tool and delete that. And we can add another one of our flowers if we want to as a symbol on this one. And you can resize those. Probably want to keep them in proportion, although they can be a little bit different. And after looking at this, I think it's still too big, so I may go back to transform and scale and do 180%. Whoa, let me try that again. I must have typed it in wrong. Oh, I put 180%. Okay. Okay, one more thing that I wanted to show you. Well, a couple more things, I guess. One of them, we go down to the next one. We have another chart. We can delete that chart. We can very quickly add a column graph chart. And this one will go vertically. We're going to do the colors. The most popular color is red. Then hit enter to go below that. And the next one is blue. Then green follows that, yellow, and then brown follows that. And then next to them, put their percentages. 28% use red mostly, 27 use blue, so those are real close. Green is 22, yellow is 15, and brown is 8. And hit the check mark and you can see very quickly how you made the graphic. You can right click and again have choices on type, data, design, transform, arrange it. So lots of different things that you can do. I'm going to use the direct selection and select one. And select one. Somehow I didn't get that chosen. There we go. And so I want to go over here to swatches. And I'm going to choose red. And I'm just drag and drop it over here. And blue, I'm going to use blue, green, and yellow. And also brown. And those are the colors that they use. Okay, one last thing. In the very last section, we have a logo. We're going to delete that. You should always have your logo, if you're doing for a company especially, you always want to have your logo on there. So I'm going to delete the logo information. And of course, you can place a logo if you go to up here to File and Place. If you have a logo, you can place it. Like, for instance, I could place this best-selling typographies. I can place that as a graphic on here. So to get a graphic, instead of insert, you go to File and Place. I'm going to delete that. So what I want to do is draw an ellipse. Just going to be a very simple logo. So there we have an ellipse. It's white color because the fill over here is white. And so on the ellipse, I want to use a swatch. I'm just going to click that one and drag it. I could also do the eyedropper tool and pick one of the colors we use, and notice it added it to it. And then click off of that so it's not selected. If I want to select it, I can go over here to the gradient. And there we have gradient. I could white, black. There we go. And I can drag this, drop it down there. Remove the black by clicking on the paint bucket and clicking delete. It has to be selected first. There we go. And then I can slide this one down a little bit more. I could even add some more paint buckets there if I wanted to. Okay. And, oops, I lost my dooley dauber. Okay, and drop that gradient on there, and there we go. Also, keep in mind that you also want to always have a call to action to most infographics, depending on the purpose of the infographic, but you want to let them know after reading this what they should do, what action should they take. And with that, I'm going to stop this video of Adobe Illustrator.